This is the blonde joke. I gotta start telling blonde jokes before my hair goes brown. We find out what color it really is. Jet plane is on its way to Toronto when a blonde in the economy class gets up and seats herself in first class. So the stewardess comes over to her and says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't sit here. This is first class. You belong in economy." And the blonde said, "I'm blonde and I'm beautiful and I'm going to Toronto and that's that." So the stewardess goes up to the front of the airplane to the co-pilot and tells the story about this blonde. And the co-pilot said, "I'll handle this." So the co-pilot goes back, says, "I'm sorry, miss, you can't sit here. This is first class. You belong in economy." And the blonde says again, "I'm blonde and I'm beautiful and I'm going to Toronto and you can't stop me." So he goes back into the cabin and talks to the pilot and said, "I think we're going to have the police ready when we land in Toronto." And the guy said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, there's a blonde." He said, "Say no more. Say no more. My wife is a blonde. I speak blonde. Let me handle this." So he goes back to the blonde and he whispers in her ear. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She gets up from first class and goes back to sit in coach. The pilot goes back to the cockpit and sits down. And the co-pilot and the stewardess say, "Well, what happened? How did you get her to move?" And the captain said, "Well, I just told her first class doesn't go to Toronto."